It's like the algorithm tell, right? Like when you're like an engineer.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new Slop in Your video. I hope you're having a fantastic day, because I certainly am. And in today's video, we're going to be speaking about SomeOrdinaryGamers or Mutahar. Because recently, a content creator called Nick Andros dropped a giant video on Mutahar exposing him for his lies involving his job. Ladies and gentlemen, I highly recommend that you go and check out the original 38 long minute video, as of course we're not going to be including all the fun stuff that video includes, so please feel free to go and check that out, and the link will be down below. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's dive into Mutahar has been a fake engineer for 10 years. One thing that this video is very good at is building a timeline of the times that Mutahar has mentioned having a job, being an engineer, or anything along that lines, and compiling them all.
Mutahar has consistently claimed that YouTube isn't his job.
Hey, YouTube isn't my job. Thank God my job isn't YouTube.
YouTube is not my job. YouTube is not my job. YouTube is not my job.
YouTube is not my
And
job.
as silly as this sounds, this is quite a big part of Mutahar's reputation and something that does come up a lot. A lot of the times people use Mutahar as an example of what to do when you're a YouTuber, as YouTube isn't exactly a stable job. People point to Mutahar's structure of having a job alongside YouTube as a great example for other content creators who might be struggling just doing YouTube on its own.
Has also insisted throughout his career that he is an engineer.
I'm an engineer.
I'm a fucking engineer. I'm a goddamn engineer. I'm an engineer. I'm a fucking engineer. I'm an engineer. I'm only an engineer. Oh, I'm an engineer. I'm an engineer. I'm just an engineer. I'm an engineer. I'm just a fucking engineer. I'm a goddamn engineer. I'm a fucking engineer. I'm an engineer. I'm an engineer. As an engineer, being an engineer, I don't have to tell you as an engineer. I'm just a dumb engineer as an engineer. My engineer asked, but as an engineer, so I'm just a fucking dumb fucking engineer. Like I can tell her, like I'm an engineer, but I'm an engineer. As an engineer, I'm an engineer. As somebody that is an engineer, as an engineer. I'm saying I'm the number one engineer as an engineer. As an engineer. All right, as an engineer, I'm just an engineer. Speaking of somebody that is an engineer, I'm an engineer. I'm an engineer.
Ladies and gentlemen, just going off of nothing, no evidence, nothing whatsoever, I've got just a tiny small hunch and suspicion that he wants you all to know that he's an engineer. This video focuses quite a bit on the inconsistencies with what Mutahar is saying when it comes to his job, what type of engineer he is, if he's a computer engineer.
I'm just like a computer engineer by default.
Like I'm a fucking computer engineer.
What Nick Andros does towards the beginning of this video as well is focus on the legality of falsely claiming that you're some type of engineer and all the legals behind that.
It's actually illegal to call yourself an engineer if you are not a licensed engineer. The Ontario engineering regulatory body, Professional Engineers Ontario, claims to take offense to even titles like software engineer being used instead of software developer, but they do make an exception for terms like train engineer, broadcast engineer, or sound engineer, which are not professional engineers in the same way that a computer engineer or a civil engineer would be. Calling yourself a computer engineer to a public audience is like saying that you're a civil engineer or a mechanical engineer. You might as well call yourself a doctor or a therapist. For Mutahar to be a licensed computer engineer, for him to be able to legally call himself a computer engineer, or an engineer in general, he would need a 4-year degree, 4 years of training, and to pass the National Professional Practice Exam.
I mean, of course, let's be realistic here. Mutahar claiming in his videos he's some gigantic, masterful, big-brained engineer isn't going to lead to him getting arrested or knelt on and then chucked in prison, realistically. But it just kind of does go to show you what type of person Mutahar is and how funny it is. Because Mutahar bigging himself up as is some type of engineer and then turning out to possibly being a giant liar is funny and incredibly shallow. I mean, who cares what you do outside of doing YouTube? Just own up to what you do. It literally doesn't matter whatsoever. If you have no employment outside of YouTube and YouTube's your full-time job, just say that. Just own that. If you work in a Target or a Tesco or whatever other supermarket and you do YouTube on the side, also just own up to that. Nobody cares. It's actually more shallow and more funny if you lie about that. Also, by lying about that, you just look 10 times worse and untrustworthy.
Is apparently not just a computer engineer.
I'm a video engineer now. I think I know how this shit fucking works. Speaking out of an engineer, like if I wasn't a computer science engineer, I wouldn't speak about Elon being an idiot. But as an engineer, yeah, I'm gonna call him a fucking idiot because he does do idiotic statements.
This is why, as a cybersecurity engineer,
A computer engineer is very much a real thing. But a video engineer or a broadcast engineer isn't a real professional engineer.
This is something that this video is very good at doing, like I said towards the beginning of the video, compiling these clips, showing the inconsistencies in what Mutahar is saying, and just actually explaining what he's actually trying to say, and if he's lying or not.
So, what education does he have?
Like, it's a really good explanation of why, like, I picked engineering as, like, the road to go down when I was studying. I'm like...
So, he would have an engineering degree.
I went to university for computer sciences, and that's it. Education background, asking because a lot of CS knowledge. Yeah, well, I did computer engineering. when I fucking went to college. That's what I did.
Okay, so at least a computer science degree.
I thought when I got into university for a while, and I dropped out like a semester in because I was like, okay, no.
Oh, he dropped out after a semester.
Like, I'm a dropout myself. I've never finished university, but I'm not going to dog on like school. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to learn to be
valuable.
if you're going to be an engineer, if you're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, if you're going to be in the STEM field, you need to go to university. Okay?
You need to go to university to be an engineer, but Mutahar is a dropout. He has no degree.
Were you a computer science major? Yeah, that's what I went to for college for a little bit, dropped out of it, you know.
I've seen quite a few comments trying to push back on this and about what actual degrees and what pieces of education you need to ultimately become an engineer. But ultimately what people are kind of missing here is the inconsistencies in what Mutahar is saying and the lies on show, regardless of the actual education that you need to become an engineer.
Other times he says he's a former engineer.
So like being a former engineer, like I virtualize like everything, so I like contain shit. And
Even an ex-engineer.
the coolest ways possible. I'm like a fucking ex-engineer.
But here's the thing. He's been saying he used to be an engineer, or that he worked as an engineer for 10 years.
I wanted to share sort of my engineering background with you.
Okay, I worked as a fucking engineer, all right, before I went into this shit. I think I know this.
I also like to mess around with technology. I myself used to be an engineer before I went into the video editing route.
I find the inconsistencies in what Mutahar is saying here just so damn hilarious, because of course over 10 years you're probably going to change jobs, you're going to switch up on some things, you're going to forget things or whatever, but the things he's saying here just categorically go against other things that he said around the exact same time.
That he switched careers after his channel began taking off.
And the interesting thing about this whole YouTube stuff is it actually made me change my entire career choice.
Huge focus as well on Mutahar saying he went into video editing, that he changed career paths as well.
And after starting YouTube, he switched careers from computer engineering to film and television. And this is where his actual education comes in.
I worked in film and TV before I still don't have a fancy fucking degree, okay? And there you go, I filmed it, alright? I used my film degree to something.
He calls it a film degree, but it's actually a 2-year broadcasting/videography diploma he got from Humber College between 2013 and 2015. If he went back to studying to get an actual engineering degree, he never mentioned anything about it. Not a single slip. Mutahar was never a real engineer, but he's been calling himself one for a decade because of tech jobs he supposedly had before 2013.
I'd genuinely love to see how Mutahar would respond to this, what type of things he would say in response, how he would break this down, how he would break down his said education to prove this wrong, because ultimately so far it's looking like Mutahar is a giant big fat liar.
In 2021, he claimed his job was trading and investing.
My job right now, I just sit around and trade and invest. That's what my job is.
But he was still an engineer or a computer engineer. Apparently his dad calls him an engineer who knows computers.
I'm sitting in the room, it's like, when it comes to computers, do you talk about it with my son? Do you act like an intelligent person? Because my son's a fucking engineer, okay? If I'm wrong about computers, I'm gonna believe what my son says, because he's the fucking engineer, not a doctor. Like, fucking insane, dude.
But he also just sits at home and invests money.
I invest, that's my job now. I just sort of sit home and invest money.
He's a computer engineer, he uses a computer. He's a trader, he invests in Bitcoin. He's a video editor, he edits his own YouTube videos. He's a barista, he makes his own coffee. He's a chef, he cooks his own food. He's a carer, he washes himself. Another thing that makes this video worth watching, if you haven't already, is how Nick Andros compiles the clips where Mutahar is flip-flopping on what he does for a job around the same time period, where he's switching up if he's investing, if he's a video editor, if he's actually some type of crazy big-brained engineer. Because Mutahar consistently flip-flops on what he actually does for a job and what he's currently doing as a job. Unless he's genuinely switching up that often in his career, I just don't buy it.
At our company, like not YouTube, but outside YouTube, like when it comes to our main work property and everything, like our like asset management, property development, stuff like that.
So before YouTube, Mutahar did the computer programming cybersecurity work he thinks entitles him to call himself an engineer. Between 2013 and 2015, he's studying his videography diploma. From 2015 to 2020, he's a video editor, and from 2021 onwards, he's a day trader, investor, and eventually the CEO of his own company that does asset management and property development.
What we don't get about Mutahar is he's everything. He's not only an engineer, he's a police officer, he's a paramedic, he can drive an ambulance, he's a driving instructor, he can fly a plane, he's a pilot.
It's like for us, like my job is a 9 to 5 every day.
You upload how many videos a week?
a day. Like, I upload it every day.
Very clear that he's constantly talking about this. He's saying that he's an engineer. He's saying he's got this 9-to-5 job and that he's balancing YouTube, all because it bigs up his reputation. It makes him look better. It makes him look more respectable. So when people do come at him, they can go, well, look, this guy is a hard-working, honest man who does have a 9-to-5, and YouTube's only his second thing. So, you know, he's not going to get everything right. It's kind of like a defense mechanism.
There, we were talking about cybersecurity because that's what you went to school for. You're like, homeboy's very smart. You do actually business, and then YouTube is a
YouTube is always like the secondary side gig.
Mutahar might be the most educated man on the planet.
This is why, as a cybersecurity engineer...
But when he assisted Nuxtaku in tracking down the V-Shoujo swatter, he fell for a basic social engineering trick, where the swatter, who was a minor, pretended to be one of Nux's fans who knew the swatter in real life, and fed them a bunch of bogus information.
I appreciate the random fan who was in that Discord server that actually contacted me and reached out to me about this stuff. Oh my god, you guys are legends, honestly.
V-Shoujo's cybersecurity expert knew this was bullshit. The cybersecurity engineer did not. Mutahar doesn't do drama content anymore because it's all needless negativity, and YouTube isn't his job.
The amount of lies that Nick Andros identifies within this video that comes from Mutahar is genuinely insane, and I implore you to go and check that out for some of the smaller ones that might not be included in this video, because there's a lot.
However, he still weighed in on the pirate software drama after videos about it began going mega viral. What insight is Mutahar, the computer engineer who knows all of this shit, going to weigh in with?
No. Right now, as a video editor, I do more engineering now, so back-end programming for effects work. I'm working on a new codec for video right now for H.265, so we can actually transmit better video quality at higher resolutions. I'm actually doing something which I want to sell to Microsoft at some point later on. So I've been designing an AI toolset that basically you can inject, hopefully, into like video tools, and this is gonna be like video games or whatever, right? So it's like, let's say that Microsoft backwards compatibility, right? So I had this tool idea. This is kind of what I got going in my
Anybody
head.
watching that has watched a few Slummuel videos will know that I'm a waffler at the best of times, but Mutahar is just on a completely different level and has no idea how to construct his points. Just get the words out, please.
So I have this idea, and I hope to one day sell to Microsoft, right? So what I do is, since I have a really good video background, right? I've been designing neural stuff around it, so what I want to do one day is, you know how Microsoft has backwards compatibility, right? So would it be really fun if I could design a way that Microsoft could take the textures in their video games, right? So they could take the textures mapped in their video games and find a way to AI upgrade them. So like basically use a fucking photo AI, like basically use an artificial intelligence that can scan across, you know, all these textures and just fucking upscale them to like 4K, 8K, whatever they want to go to, and make games look better without needing, you know, developers to make it better, right? That could be an idea for me. It sounds simple on paper. Obviously, it's very, very, very fucking time consuming to make it even as effective as you want.
He knows how to program video encoders. He knows graphics APIs and AI tools in 2019. What does he know in 2025? What can he add?
One of the code bases that we're looking at over here is this falling particle. Now, there's a lot of numbers that are being dropped in here, and one of the things that you'll tend to see in Pirate Software's code is magic number abuse.
Nothing unique, nothing new, nothing that Coding Jesus didn't say in his video, which Mutahar keeps mentioning.
There's nothing wrong with having shit code, right? There's nothing wrong with being bad at it. I'm not a fucking great coder either. So I'm actually doing something which I want to sell to Microsoft at some point.
Look, I think we're being too harsh on Mutahar because it's very clear that he's some type of sleeper agent. At night, he's some incredible, impeccable coder. By day, he has no idea what code even is. Mutahar is definitely one of those people who just waffles for the sake of waffling, pieces big words together, and hopes that you genuinely buy that they are some big, intelligent person with an incredibly busy schedule. But like I said, please go and check out the full video. You'll enjoy it. There's a lot to really sink your teeth into, and this video is blowing up online. I'll be interested to see if Mutahar does say anything about this whatsoever. If he posts a community tab, he might even address it in a video, but realistically, Mutahar is somebody who's incredibly scared and probably realistically won't respond to it. Thank you everybody for watching today's YouTube video. Please feel free to comment down below your thoughts on all of this, and once you're done then you might also subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future SWAT video. But I've been your host Samuel, I've been covering the Mutahar SWAT pick, and I will catch you in the next YouTube video. Goodbye.